I said it on radio. I thought our effort was remarkable today, and we just got to figure out a way to bottle that up and bring it every single night. It just started with our defensive effort. It was really, really good. It's what it needed to be. I thought because of that, our offense was quicker, was smarter, was better, was more connected. And I think that, when you get a few opportunities because of your defense, out in transition, guys running the lanes, getting an open three, then you're not faced with so many half-court possessions where, other teams scout, they play hard. It's more difficult to score at times against a half-court set defense. But just really proud of our group. It's a really good team that we beat. One of the best offensive teams in the country, a team that really spreads you from the three-point line at every position, some veteran guys. So it's what this league's all about, I guess.
Chris, with the 2 alterations you made to the starting lineup, ultimately what was the tipping point toward pulling the trigger on that? And did you like what you saw from Karam and Naj?
Yeah, and the guys that went to the bench, obviously Ty didn't play. I like what I saw from Kaiser. And, I just felt like any coach would, Kaiser hasn't played well. And Tyreek hasn't played as well as Karam. And it's not necessarily an indictment of the guys that you sit down out of the starting lineup, but more of a reward for the guys that are playing very well. And I don't think it takes a basketball coach to watch our last 2 games and say, wow, Karam Kanter's really good, really good. And he deserved an opportunity to be on the floor quicker. So I started him. And, Naj, I thought was given better energy than Kaiser on the glass. I thought he was defending, and that's why I started Najee. And I told Quentin that if we had a backup that was playing better, I wouldn't have started him either. But, Paul's got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, which he did today. So that was my thought process.
I have a special friend here named Tommy. He's 13 years old. He wanted to ask you a question.
If that's had anything to do with, go ahead, Tommy. I don't want to bust your chops on question number 1.
What's your pregame ritual before every game?
That's a good question. My pregame ritual, after shoot around, I usually go upstairs on the 4th floor, eat our pregame meal, and then go in my office, lock the door, read over the other team's scouting report, eat some gummy bears, drink a little Diet Mountain Dew to get me going, and then come down about 75 minutes before the game starts.
Chris, it looked like Tyreek had some tape on his hand before the game. He wasn't in the layup lines pregame. Is he okay health-wise?
I think so. He banged it yesterday in practice, and it was a little painful. I think it's a little puffy. He felt like he would be the one-arm bandit out there. It's the second time I've sort of brought up the fugitive, one-arm man. So he didn't feel like he could really help our team. I told him, well, hey, if we get in foul trouble and you can still block shots and rebound with your left, then I may put you in there. So,
can it be easier to coach a team that has lost 2 in a row than one that's ranked 5th in the country?
Oh man, yeah, at times, yeah. Everybody tells you how good you are, and you certainly see flaws that maybe players don't want to admit to. But I think we played with a little incentive today. I think we played with our backs against the wall. But it doesn't make it any easier to defeat those guys in the blue jerseys who are extremely talented. We could have played, and I told our coaches in the locker room, if we'd have played our tails off at Villanova and dropped it, then I would be fine with that. But I didn't think we gave maximum effort. I didn't feel that way, after Providence. I didn't feel that way after DePaul. It had been a while where I could really look at our coaches and players and say, wow, great effort. I don't care about the result. And I know it's easy to say when you win, but that's all you want, just your guys to play extremely hard and unselfish. And I have no problem saying that they did that plentiful today. Did a great job.
I was going to have Tommy actually ask you about Pete Gillen.
He's a great coach.
I'm kidding, yeah. Defensively, the effort and the intensity. Is that what we saw today? Is that what you're looking for on the defensive end?
Yeah. I mean, you know, offense is going to leave you at times. I mean, you look at a guy like Kyrie Thomas, who's a great player. He's an all-league caliber player. He goes 0 for 8 today, and he's not going to have any games this year where he goes 0 for 8. But, you know, he brings it defensively. I mean, that's just who he is. And I think great players, great teams, no matter how their offense is going, are able to buckle down and get stops. And we have not been able to be that team yet. And we're working to get there.
Do you ever have to remind your team, Chris, especially with social media, that one game or even 2 games in the loss column are not a terrible thing, and this is the marathon, not the sprint?
I remind them more that it's about the guys in the circle, Paul, which probably is the same type of thought. You know, we can't be concerned with what the outside world really thinks of us, who we should be playing, starting, you know, why Stink is a coach, why he's on scholarship, like all that stuff can eat at you. And the other's true as well when they start talking about how good you are, how you have no weaknesses, how this is a Final Four contending. It's all irrelevant. It's about daily improvement and bringing out your best effort. And I do think we have some guys in our locker room that learned that as real as it gets a year ago, you know, after losing 6 in a row. So I really talk to them in terms of, like, it's about us. You know, you're going to get the crazy ats on Twitter in one ear, out the next. Worry about us and worry about improving.
Chris, has Najee surprised you in terms of just being a freshman and be able to bring that energy and that intensity you mentioned earlier so quickly into his first season?
Not really. It's what I thought I was getting, and I thought that's he's been that way since he's been here. You know, you had a couple of the upperclassmen, you know, early on in the fall before we even got to look at the guys, you know, sort of giving coaches that look like Najee's he's going to be special, you know, and he has a great attitude. He wants to get better. He really values the defensive end, which, you know, our team needs. He also brings a versatility on the wing that, you know, I think can be really disruptive. We haven't had a stopper on the wing maybe since Remy Abel. And Remy had his shortcomings because he had short arms. You know, he was like an alligator that played hard. But not Najee, man. He's long, and he really values that. And that's great to see. Our team needs him.
Najee, Karam, and Kaiser had no idea that you tied Pete Gillen today atop the wins list. I know you're not about yourself and you're about your teams, but do you take anything away from this game in terms of the accolade and that achievement?
No, because it's not about one game. It's about a bunch of games. I'm just fortunate enough to be the head coach here, and, you know, at my alma mater. And, you know, I said it, and I'll say it a million times. It really is about the players. You know, when I played in 1992, or at least was on the team, I didn't play a whole lot. You know, we didn't think of it as Pete Gillen's wins when we won a game. We didn't. And when we get together, and I see guys like Tyrese Walker and Eric Edwards and Brian Grant, you know, we don't call Coach Gillen and say, hey, come back, have a beer, and let's talk about, you know, all the games you won. And I don't think those guys in the locker room will do that in 30 years either. So that's why they probably didn't know, because they don't feel that way, and I don't feel that way either.
Who and what has been most responsible for the improvement that we're seeing from Sean O'Mara?
Sean.
Yeah.
You know, and I give Sean a lot of credit because it didn't come easy for him. You know, he didn't have a Najee Marshall type of freshman year or Trayvon Blewett type of freshman year. You know, there were some doubts in his mind. Maybe this wasn't the right place. I wasn't the right coach. He played behind some really good players. You know, Jalen Reynolds, James Farr, Matt Stainbrook. But he was in this very room doing that workout program, Insanity, you know, with Sean T. And every summer, I mean, he would be lifting. He'd get done with lifting, he'd get a snack. All the guys would go back to the dorm and play Xbox, and he'd sit in here and do Insanity. He got himself in unbelievable shape and just worked and worked and worked. And I think, you know, last year's tournament run and how he played probably also gave him a confidence boost along with that work ethic that, he's really taken last year straight into this year and continued great play. Thank you.